What's up guys, it is I, once again, Yusuf Al-Sanad, and today guys and gals, I want to talk about and review John Krasinski's 2018 family horror film, A Quiet Place, which was praised for its performances, the horror, the atmosphere, the originality of the movie, which is definitely a selling point for this film, the biggest selling point actually, but this film guys and gals has a much bigger positive point, which I will go into detail as to why it's so good for me and why it left a huge positive impression on yours truly. But this film was directed by John Krasinski and co-written by Krasinski himself and two fellow writers. Those two writers were the original people, the original men who wrote the original story to this movie, which is praised for its originality, and those two men are Scott Beck and Brian Woods, all three of who have to be praised for this movie and the originality of the story. This film guys and girls is so good, so amazing, and it's so rare to say this nowadays, but this film guys and girls, in the world of cinema and storytelling, this movie and the story is very much original, an original story which has left a huge impression on yours truly. And this movie tells the tale of the Abbott family who are trying to survive in the post-apocalyptic world of 2020, 3 months after the post-apocalypse in 2020, in which the world's population of people have been wiped out because of these monsters, these creatures who have killed every single one of them. These creatures have strong armor, they have very strong sensitive hearing, very strong hypersensitive hearing, which yours truly will go into more detail as well. And these monsters have essentially wiped out every single man, woman and child in this world, alongside many animals who have been killed because of these creatures who were likely created because of science, or these creatures were likely alien. We have no idea as to where they came from, whether they are man-made or these creatures came from a different planet, a different galaxy. We have no idea, but these creatures have essentially once again have killed every man, woman and child and animals in this world. And the very few survivors who have survived these creatures and learned how to adapt to their situations, especially when it concerns their survival against the monsters who have killed many of the world's population. And these monsters guys and gals are very hypersensitive when it comes to their hearings, because these monsters can't see, their facial structure is completely obscure of sighting, and all they can do is hear, which is both a huge advantage and a very huge disadvantage. And without going into much detail as to why it is a huge disadvantage, if you were to use a very high-pitched sound on these monsters, it could definitely render them of their hearing alongside their lack of sight, which is a huge advantage for the Abbott family who are trying to learn to survive against these monsters. And the patriarch of the Abbott family, whose name is Lee Abbott, alongside his beloved wife, the matriarch herself, Evelyn Abbott, and their 3 children, which includes Marcus, Reagan, and Bo, the youngest of who was killed by these monsters after he was so foolish and did not know any better, because at the start of the movie, Bo had made a sound with this rocket, which is a rocket toy he wanted so bad, but his father, Lee Abbott, had rejected him taking this toy because it would make loud sound, and loud sound, especially loud sound which isn't beside a louder sound, whether it be rivers or some sound which is much larger and beside you, because one louder sound which cancels a much lesser louder sound allows them to survive against these monsters, especially when you have one loud sound cancel out the other. And this young boy did not understand that concept, especially when it comes to having a toy rocket, which is his foolish mistake, partly his foolish mistake, and more so his sister, the eldest of the 3 children, who is Reagan. Reagan did not understand this concept as well, and she should have known better. Because of her mistake, it resulted in the death of Bo, her beloved brother. And because of her mistake, her foolish mistake, she blamed herself all these years, 1 whole year to be exact, in which Lee, Evelyn, Marcus, and of course Reagan, definitely Reagan, are still mourning the death of Bo, their beloved child and beloved brother, during which Reagan continuously blames herself for the death of her brother. And to be honest with you guys and gals, even though Lee Abbott, John Krasinski's character, character would beg to differ. I do blame her for his death because Reagan did not understand the concept of large sound, small sound. Rocket makes loud sound. In this world, guys and gals, you have two options: to be quiet, to shush, or to drop dead and die at the hands of these monsters, these creatures, wherever the hell they came from. You guys understand that concept. She did not, and because of her mistake, her foolish mistake, Bo is dead and rotting in the ground because of her mistake once again. So yeah, guys and gals, if these monsters ever came to be in the post-apocalyptic world within our world, do be sure to keep quiet, make no sound, and most importantly, always walk barefoot, because the entire Abbott family walk barefoot because they can't make a single sound, and the only way they can communicate is by American Sign Language, using whatever sign language they can learn to communicate with one another without dialogue being spoken, and this works to their advantage. This movie is all about the advantages and disadvantages when it comes to combating these monsters, how to survive, and how to hope to see another day without dying or the fear of dying. This movie is all about survival of this family, the Abbott family, who are still mourning the death of their son, their beloved boy, Bo, while still trying to survive against these monsters and learning their weaknesses. I think you guys and gals understand what their weaknesses are without actually watching the movie, but this film is definitely worth watching, especially if you're looking for a story which is both original and very engaging, because the Abbott family, guys and gals, are definitely a family you will relate to because of your own family and because you do dread their safety and what happens to them, especially after the death of Bo, their beloved boy and brother. John Krasinski is so great as Lee Abbott. Emily Blunt, as usual, is so good as Evelyn Abbott. Yours truly has always been a huge fan of Emily Blunt, who's one of my favorite actresses. I love her so much, and she is so gorgeous and so amazing in this movie and plays a huge role in their survival, as does John Krasinski's Lee Abbott. And of course you have the two children, Reagan Abbott, who's played so well by Millicent Simmons. She is so good in her role as the daughter who blames herself for her brother's death and believes that her father blames her for her mistake, her foolish mistake, even though John Krasinski's character Lee Abbott would beg to differ once again, as yours truly has mentioned, because he believes this is no one's fault, even though yours truly personally believes it is her fault, but she has to learn to overcome her burden, her demons, and to make sure the same mistake does not happen ever again. Reagan is such a complex character and one yours truly eventually grew to love. Reagan is so good, as is her brother Marcus. Marcus is played so well by Noah Jupe. Noah Jupe, who I believe was in the movie Wonder. I have not seen Wonder, though I do plan to. He was so good as Marcus. There are two selling points to this movie. One is the originality of the film, which is obviously self-explanatory, and this movie, guys and gals, has one big point, one very big positive point, which I really did love so much and left a huge impression on yours truly. That positive point is the monster design. Believe it or not, guys and gals, the way the monsters are designed and the way they look and the way their bodies are structured is so beautiful, so organic, and just so raw, so real, and so terrifying, guys and gals. These monsters are so terrifying in the way they look, the way they hunt, the way they hear sound, because of how hypersensitive their hearings are. And these monsters, guys and gals, are not one to mess with. They are the apex predator, and the humans are the prey who must learn to adapt to their situation, to understand the weaknesses of the predators, these monsters, and to become the hunter rather than the hunted. The performances are so good, especially by the child actors. The writing is so excellent, guys and gals, especially because of how original the story is. John Krasinski's direction is so great. I love the way he shoots his film. I love the way he tells the story, and I love the way every shot is framed, from how it is focused to how it is shot at night. This movie, guys and gals, is so beautiful, so haunting, and definitely a film which will still entertain you guys and gals while also giving you a very heartfelt family story about the Abbott family who are learning to survive in this world and to make sure that every one of them survives, even though we know in this world people will die, which is most evident after Bo's death. Through teamwork, family, connection, unity, love and support, the Abbott family learned to survive, to adapt to their environments, and to learn to combat these monsters, to find their weaknesses, and to ensure that humanity isn't completely wiped out. John Krasinski's A Quiet Place is definitely a movie yours truly does recommend you guys and gals see. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe if you wish, and do check out my gaming channel where I do Let's Play series, gaming content, and so much more. Until next time, peace out, take care, adios amigos, au revoir, and sayonara.